No, you're not, are you?
Is that better for you? Can you hear me great?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was...
Yes. I can hear it's really good.
All right, so we didn't do a top 50 podcast, but we're going to do the top 10. And it's pretty different this year, the whole makeup of it. I think it's just... I've kind of just gotten down to the top 50 where there's just been so many designs that we've wanted to make. So we've brought in a little tweak this year, which we'll go into, but let me just quickly go over what we're going to do this year. So I've actually changed it since we last spoke as well, so you might not know. First of all, we're going to announce the top 10 today, as we mentioned. But the way it's going to work this year is we're essentially going to go from like a top 10 down to a top 6. And what I mean is we'll announce the top 10, and then in August, we're going to release 3 of those rings. And then in September, we're going to release 3 of those rings. So there's going to be 2 different pools, and then the winner from each pool design is going to be sold for the entire of next year. For the whole of next year.
The entirety of next year, I think
Yeah.
you're probably like trying to land on.
So yeah, what do you reckon of that?
I actually really like that.
So it's essentially the top 10 from here. We're going to go into semi-finals. So we'll have 2 threes that we'll announce in the next podcast.
Yeah.
3 that are going to get released in August, and 3 that are going to get released in September. Oh, sorry. And then the main part of that, which I didn't even mention.
Let's say, what about the other 4?
Oh, no, that wasn't the main part. They just don't make the semi-finals.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hard to cull rings down, but we might end up doing something with them eventually. And I've got honourable mentions here of there's certain reasons why we're not putting them through the top 10. But over the next 12 months, we're likely just going to do little one-day exclusives for these rings. So if your ring's like in the honourable mention or top 10, chances are we're going to do like a little release with it at some point. And then, yeah, but there'll still be, essentially there's going to be 2 winners this year, and they're going to be sold for the whole of next year. The way they win is you either win in August, I'm butchering this explanation, but it's not that complicated.
No, it's not.
So
I feel like you're making it more complicated.
In August and September, you're going to have 3 rings released each month, and then whichever design sells the most in those months, they're going to be sold for the whole of next year. Does that make sense?
So you've got 2 winners.
Yep. You're going to make it worse. Go on, though.
I'm not going to. You just got...
Nice. All right, so... So let's go on to, I'm going to go into the honourable mentions first so that we don't read the top 10 out and your favourites are in there and you're like, oh. So I'm going to mention why these are honourable mentions, why we're not doing them in the top 10, but then once again, there's a chance we're going to do a little one-day release of them within the next 12 months. The reason why I actually like this setup this year is because people have to sort of vote with their bucks. It's no longer just... revving up your community. Say if you were a designer that, had a huge following, you could just get people behind that to comment. And even though we don't base it wholly around this will be like the most organic way to find out which design works the best.
Yeah, 100%.
But, all right, so I want to start with the honourable mentions.
Ooh.
Okay.
What was that face?
So the first honourable mention, this is... very specific one because what's happened here has been, so this year more than any other year, we had heaps of design crossover. I don't know. I think also 2022, we didn't have, we had lined up a lot of our designs and already released them, 12 months in advance. The start of this year, we've just had heaps of rings in design for a while and probably 3 or 4 different designs. People submitted designs that were super similar to ones that we had already in the ranks. We had to reach out to design and be like, hey mate, so this design, we've got one similar, but let's try and figure out something down the line. One of them we actually hadn't released yet, and I've got a little idea of what to do here. So first of all, this is an honourable mention, is The Keeper by Nadia Klein. So we've had a crocodile one in the works for a while. we wanted it to be a sort of a yin and yang take, but it's been called the Irwin for a while, but we've been trying to get it right for like 12 months because the scales are super hard to get it right. And then Nadia submitted this one. I was like, look, I reckon because we've now sort of wrapped up our one, I think it's a pretty cool little side campaign to do. Is what I want to do is release these both at the same time as a one-day exclusive. And then on that day, whichever design sells more, Nadia will obviously still get royalties on her design. We'll chuck in also prize money. So whoever wins on that day, whoever sells the most. So we'll just have like a little comp between us and Nadia.
I like it. You're very competition focused.
Yeah, I reckon sort of just add it because I also didn't want to just release ours and just be and the keeper just sort of.
No, I like it. We haven't done like like a competition like with money.
Yeah, well, I think there's this year as well. Like probably last year and the year before, I think we had very obvious winners early. Like I kind of knew quite early on that Wabi Sabi and the Collector were going to be 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
Every year now, it's not as if the top quality is getting better. It's just the depth is getting better. Like the whole top 50, like that's a company you could start with. Like they're all such sick designs. So
everyone's gotten so much better.
Yeah. So like I actually just out of curiosity, a lot of these I just want to see made. But so we're going to do a little comp, a little one-day exclusive. We'll release ours and we'll release the keeper. And then, we'll do some sort of prize money on top of it for winning design. All right. So another honourable mention is...
I love this one.
Going down. Yeah. Atlas.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's just the reason why I have this as honourable mention, not in the top 10, is just... it would be very hard to nail. And there's a chance that it could come out not looking epic if you didn't nail it. And the artwork's sick. The whole design is so good, but it would be so hard to make that if it like went through to like 1 or 2 and then we went into production and we're like, we can't nail this. And then we just end up releasing something that I want to try and make it first because there's a lot of sort of shading textures there that I'm not sure how it's going to translate into the silver, and those little star constellations are so small. I just don't even know if it's going to be.
I even think like say you took the constellations off the face for like making purposes and just had them on the inside of the band. When I did that ring that had engravings on the inside of the band, I had to recast it a bunch because of like it
breakaway.
So it would just be like interesting to see how to actually produce this ring.
Yep. So this next one in honourable mentions, this was right through to the top 10 early on, but as I started...
Oh, what? Sick.
Well, you haven't seen this one?
Nah.
So, like, as we started playing around with it, I actually started designing it a bit as well, like actually building the piece. It was hard to nail and... oh, shit, I got to describe it first. So, it's honey. So, a lot of you voted or at least sort of showed your support for this design. And I'm right behind you, but there's a few things that would be very, very hard about this. Not hard to make, but for example, that finer detail on the bee... if you lightly, if someone sneezes on it, it's going to dent that detail, like if you walk past a table and bump it, you're just going to flatten the bee.
Yeah. And like not even in a complete production sense, the post-processing of this ring would be,
it'd be
extremely difficult.
Super hard to cast.
Yeah.
So, like, there was one approach you could cast that bee in gold and then solder it on. But then once again, it's going to be such fine detail, the wings.
Yeah.
It would be very hard. And this was another one that I'd prefer to test before we actually,
It's almost like you need to engrave the bee somehow into the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
And have it as like a... engraving or like a 3D sunken engraving or something like that. Like it needs to not be like a piece that can break off.
Yeah, because it's not sitting in a jar. Like it's something you're going to wear for years. And if it's not durable at all, one of the main features of the bee is going to just be spread across the face or knocked off completely. The design's super sick. And honestly, that honeycomb and just flat side would probably look just as sick as a.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, you could probably embed it in the side. We'll have a play around with it, hopefully nail it, and then do it as a one dayer.
Even the bee going down one of the shoulders or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Something just where it's a bit more protected.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Yeah, I just dragged another one up. Is by Hannah Moore, Return to the Sea. I was chatting to her a bit on Insta as well. This was top 10 until last minute. Sorry, Hannah. But it's also increased by how expensive gold is at the moment. The ring would nearly have to be like an $800 ring just because of that massive plate of gold there.
Is this, of Wonders and Tides?
Yeah, well, I think it's called Return to the Sea. If you scroll down.
Oh, I thought that was just engraving on the back of the band.
Yeah, but if you see design name in Trello, it says Return to the Sea.
Sorry.
That's right.
I was confused. I love this design so much.
Yeah, I know. It's so do I, and that's why I'm gonna because we could even just release it as a little one dayer and just crank the price up, and just about whoever wants it or brass. Yeah, the brass though it just ages.
I know,
so
but
terribly.
it's kind of cool with that whole like patinaing to do with the sea. Actually, thinking
but
about
it can also
on a
get
deeper
that
level.
It can also get that green. That's supposed to be the
cool
sun.
though.
Yeah,
with
maybe.
The sea.
So this one's super sick. A lot of people frothing on it. But I just want to honourable mention. So we're definitely going to try and make it in some capacity. But
this is epic. I love. Yeah,
it's really cool. All right, so Hannah will definitely yarn to you about that. All right, next.
This is probably my favourite.
What out of all of the designs?
I don't know why. I just love this ring so much.
Yeah, maybe this should have been top 10. Because a lot of people did. Anyway, so by Scott Lawton Rise.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Scott, you're genius.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think it's sick as well. And I guess the reason why I was honourable mention is because it is just so chaotic, it would be a hard one to get properly right. Also, we have an octopus design in the collection, so in production at the moment. So I think we'll probably do something similar to the crocodile one, where it might release 2 octopus ones for little one dayer. It was So
this is so cool. The more I look at it, the more I love it.
Yeah,
I love the chaotic nature because at first you think it's like vines or just like a rogue design, and you look again, you're like, oh, it's an octopus.
Yeah, fully.
And then it just gets cooler and cooler.
I think it was hard to envision how much of the sculptural element's going to be a bit of a nuisance. I don't know, it's going to be so obtruse, so cumbersome on the hand.
See, I
potentially.
thought it would. Seeing the side view now, but I thought it was more like a similar size to the collector. Like it sort of went that.
Oh yeah, if it's a little bit smaller, it could be.
Yeah, that was how I sort of saw it at first. But then seeing the side angle, I can see that it's a bit more of a Signety style. But I liked it when it was a bit more like collector and like long.
Yeah, you could make it. So this one is more just I reckon there's less of a clear path through to its final form. So I think the reason why it's in honourable mention, I'm keen to make this. We'll definitely line up a little one day. I might do it in November. But there's a couple of others which I'll spend less time on them. Whirlpool, heaps of people are right behind this.
Wow.
I think it's sick. There's really no. The thing is as well, I'm trying to over rationalize why these are an honourable mention, but the fact of the matter is, the whole top 50 could have been made.
Yeah.
So this was sick. Maybe it may have been slightly too close to Wabi Sabi, but then again, not really. It does.
Waves on one side, I guess.
Yeah. But I'm keen to see it made, so we'll definitely line up a release of that at some point. Fractal Peacock.
Ooh.
Just so much detail. I love this entry. Honestly, the only reason I've got an honourable mention and not top 10 was probably when we were speaking to the member groups, and probably less people frothing on this more than I think they should have, because it actually takes a while to take it in, and with people's attention span being fuck all now, people probably just scroll past it. But when you pause, have a look at it, it's sick, and I reckon this could actually work quite well as two-tone or brass.
It's a bit Protector-esque.
Yeah. So yeah, I reckon this would be kill. And then final one, bite. It's fucking pretty chaotic as well. Very sort of collector vibe-ish, mixed with a pomegranate. It's fucking all over the shop, and I reckon it's so sick.
I've not seen this design before.
Yeah.
I think it's a let me grow on you design.
Yeah, well, this was a similar one where I think that it could have over-the-top damage that would affect the not so much the durability, but just like the aesthetic durability.
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to look like after 2 years if you've
Bit mashed.
yeah, if it's been through a couple of whips, been up an ass, and it's just going to be, I don't know, it could just visually be affected too much unless you can sort of play around with it, maybe sink the detail in a bit further. But another one, I'm keen to do a little one-dayer, so we'll build it out and plan something in. Let's go top 10. We'll start at the top.
Yeah.
All right, so number 10 through to the top 10, which has less meaning this time just because the simple fact that we're going to just try and make as many as possible, but it's still the competitive side of it makes it fun, I reckon.
I like the competitive side.
And then once again, so the 2 winners this year will be sold for the whole of next year, which is pretty sick. So, all right, number 10, in no particular order either, is Specimen.
I love this.
It's cool, though.
I think this is
By Al Lee, by the way.
such a cool ring.
Yeah, it's super sick.
Never seen anything like it. Like the whole idea of like
The latch on
when when you put like butterflies into like glass. I never even thought to like put that onto a ring, and it's such a cool outcome.
I had these in our original studio. Do you remember?
Yeah, the actual, not the ring, the specimens.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the scientific nature of it.
Yeah, I like that sort of like always super symmetrical as well, and yeah, I reckon it's cool. He does want a latch and hinge, which I don't know if we'll do, just because.
Quite cumbersome.
No, just because it'll be fucking hard.
True. What would be under? Just like a locket style?
No, that would be under. So like the bugs would be under, and then the lid lifts off. I think that's the way I read it. But either way, it's sick design, and it'd be kind of fun to make one of them with a latch and hinge.
Love this design.
It's cool.
I love the it feels like a comfortable design because I've seen like bugs pinned before.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool. It's really nice.
I love it.
Yeah, same.
All right, so number 2 is Ravens. So yeah, this one, it's like I'll sort of write in notes about it in our member group. The thing is, if this was the first comp we've ever launched, and also and if it was the first time you met Howlett, people would be like, yeah, this design pumps. I think it's just because we use feathers and wings and that sort of layered textured look, especially quite often in the not necessarily yin and yang, but that offset balance design style. People just are like, I kind of seen it before, but it just objectively pumps this design.
Yeah, it's objectively good ring.
Like once this ring's cast and in silver, it's oxidized. You've torn off it's not torn off. You've polished back the oxidization. It's going to look so sick. Yeah. The thing that really nudged it over the line for me as well was the little Nordic compass in the center. So if you zoom in on that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I've been trying to tie a Nordic compass into so many designs. It's kind of seemed a little bit forced at times. So this was perfect excuse to get one in there. I reckon it's sick. And this is one of those designs where it might not kick your groin in when you first see it, but I guarantee you, if you weren't following the design comp, if I just trickled this into the collection, it'd be like a top seller.
It's also just a wearable design.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, not too over the top for anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
All right, number 3. What was that noise?
This one's just so cute.
All right, number 3 is Designed to Deceive by Cooper Tide. What? Are you looking at that one?
Yeah, he's just so adorable.
Yeah, he's cool. This was the third one that we hadn't started this, but we did have a chameleon one in a concept stage. So just when I saw it, I was like, yeah, sick. I'm keen to see the chameleon one made. I feel like it's just got it's just one of those creatures that's like a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
And
definitely meerkats.
And yeah, the weird thing is with this one, and what we were sort of having trouble with at the concept stage is this piece will have like enough texture for the whole top 50. Like the scales of it, the side, which is fucking chaos as well. The irony of this is that it might actually be hard to make out the chameleon in amongst all the texture.
Yeah.
Which is like,
or is it not set on a gold plate?
Nah. Well, if it is, I'm not doing that just because it'll be too expensive. I'm not sure it's supposed to be.
Or is it just a yellow background?
But anyway, what I meant is like that. The funny thing is because this piece will be so heavily textured, the chameleon will be so hard to tell, which is kind of plays back into the fact that it's a chameleon.
Oh, that's cool. It's just...
But it's like, I don't know, that's kind of just accidental, just in the fact that...
It's being a chameleon.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I reckon this one's probably had less amp behind it, but I'm super keen to see it done. I got a bit of bias because I've wanted to build a chameleon into a design for a while. And...
Lots of people are reading your mind with this.
I know.
Like crocodiles, Nordic compasses.
Well, it's probably because I've harped on about scales so much that everyone just fucking just Googling things with scales.
Yeah, but the Nordic compass.
Oh, yeah. Scales. All right, so number 4 is thylacine sighting, or 1936. So... I'm super keen to see this one through. Honestly, since we started, we haven't had like a really truly iconic Australian design. So this is, for any non-Aussies watching, this thylacine, also known as a Tasmanian tiger, was, well, the other name for it is 1936. Like this design name, that was the last time it was alive. So it was extinct in. So it went extinct. It went extinct in 1936. We had a member design group we had a member group design that we did a few years ago that was very Aussie based, but yeah, I don't know. I was keen to have another Aussie icon ring back in. It's like our version of Bigfoot because there's always like...
Yeah, there's stories.
There's always stories of sightings.
Another, though, Aussie ring in the top 10, the crocodile.
Well, that's honourable mention.
Oh.
What, were you not listening that whole time?
No, I was. I just got confused.
Yeah, but Crocs also fucking running rampant on Florida golf courses.
Oh, alligators.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Well, no, just because you were calling it the earworm.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I'm super pumped on... Yeah, I know. I was looking up videos before of Tasmanian tigers. That's sick.
They've got really flat feet.
Yeah, they got stupid little feet. And so this is it's set up in the there's so many yin and yang designs, but it's for good reason. Like that sort of balance and works so well. And that I can imagine that yin and yang designs are just going to keep on coming through a design comp, and they always pop into my head as well. There's that good sense of balance, but you can also have like vast opposites within the same image, and that's sort of what they've done here with this design. But I can see it, and also the design submission's really cool. All the pre-sketches.
I like the hand sketches. There's so many computer-aided ones, which are really cool as well, but it's sick to see hand sketching.
Number 5.
This is my favourite in the top 10.
All right, so Fatal Ascent.
Love this one. I just love mythology, so you're winning me over. Lots of people are winning me over here.
Yeah.
3 of you.
You like this one?
Love this one. I love the story of Icarus.
This is such a sick design. And like I think this is the sort of perfect example of why those little 1%ers matter. Just because the concept alone, I think a lot of people would have stopped there. But the things that I like is just like the little finer detail, like the rays, for example, in that back texturing kind of looks like bamboo. Just the way that's been...
Oh my God, it does. That's really cool.
Yeah, they're just like that additional bit of detail is just so sick. And we'll do our best to absolutely nail that side of it. Because, yeah, like we've done similar background texture to that before. And it's just been singular lines. Just to add the slight bit more depth to it looks so sick. And then obviously the gold plate is going to pop. All right, so number 6.
Oh, I loved this one as well.
Yeah, Channy always has so. Oh, I'll say it first. As above, so below.
Such a sick design.
So Channy had like 20 that would have been fine in the top 10. They're always so sick, these designs. I think there was maybe 5. Actually, I don't know. I've just seen them so much. There was definitely a few in top 50. But yeah, it's a sick, super sick design. A design actually also just visually from the outset works, and then once you look into it and you sort of start discovering more and more details, it would randomly actually be a fairly comfortable and like
wearable ring.
Yeah.
That was my first thought when I saw this.
Because it looks like it sits nice and flush.
It's a very wearable piece.
Yeesh.
But then this is just so cool.
Yeah,
I like the wings as well.
Yeah, I think it's everyone just the good thing about the comp is that every previous year elevates the following years, you know? Because there's only so much you can do with like layered like elements. So people are just building on what they've seen previously. I honestly reckon each design comp is just making everyone, including our designs, just so much better because it's sort of showing you what's possible.
Yeah. I
Corny as that
really
sounds.
love this ring though.
Yeah,
I think
it's super
it's
sick.
Cool.
All right, that was 6. Now on to 7.
I don't really understand this one.
All right, so this is the Void. Again, like aggressively visual. So it's I can understand because this had a lot of people frothing. So I can understand why people amped on this design. First of all, the signet shape is super sick. We've done a few similar signet shapes as this, and they're always real. They sell really high.
People asking me for the ones that we've done like this.
Yeah. All right, number 8. Yeah, was that 7? Yeah, number 8 is Poolside by Ben Perkins.
Do you know what? This originally was my favorite design. I think it's elegant. It's sophisticated. I haven't seen anything like it. I do love this one. I love that it's completely different to any other design I've ever seen, but not in a way that you like it because it's strange, in a way that it's just a sick design.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's unique in a way that it also works. So it's like you could just have a human shit on a ring and it would be unique because it's so fucking different. Yeah. But it's strange that all these elements actually work because you'd say, oh, there's this design poolside. It's the edge of a pool and a diving board with a sun. Yeah. Or is that a...
It's a sun.
Yeah. That just... Like, if you're painting that picture, you're like, this is no way this is going to work. It strangely looks so sick for the 3 very mundane elements that are in it. All right, number 9. Yeah, this one is like...
Oh, it's such a cutie.
Yeah, it's weird that this one got a real late call up because when I first saw it, I was like, this is so like, I don't know, so different and sick. And I was keen for it to go through and I was like, I don't know if it's sort of pushing something through just because of a personal little tickle. But then so many people backed it, so I'm like, all right, we're going through. So this is Ponder.
Such a cute little design.
Yeah, it's so sick.
I love it. I don't know if it's because we're like so dog obsessed at the moment, but...
Yeah, he's a little cutie. I really like the idea of having it two-tone as well. That little gold...
I just saw that. It looks epic. I don't know how you do it, but...
Oh, it'd be easy. Just a little pin, solder it in like most of them.
Would there be a couple of pins though? Because the little fingers are...
I don't think we'd do the fingers.
And then the other little spots in the lily pad?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe the other spots. Number 10. So, was I counting up or down?
Doesn't really matter because they're not in order.
All right. The last one to go through to the top 10 is Venomous Ronin.
Nice. This is very... McGee, if you're listening, I feel like this ring was made for you.
Yeah, so like this one, along with a few others, especially in the top 50, like it garners such like a visceral reaction from people, whether positive or negative. It's a very powerful image, you know. Probably not a design as much that I would originally look for just as a customer, but I don't know. I just sort of respect the fact that it's such a bold hitter, you know. Yeah, and the thing is as well, there would have been plenty justification just to leave that Signet face as the entire feature and not really build out anything further, because a lot, like that image is, heavy enough, and then to sort of build out the side details with the scales and then the serpent around the band.
I also like that they went for the scales on the band and left the serpents plain.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Flip of the design.
Yeah, so it's going to have a smaller audience, but that audience is going to be super evangelistic.
Yeah, like this is going to be their, like, they live or die in this piece.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, so that's the top 10. So, yeah, it's getting so hard to even not make a whole bunch, just make the entire top 50 because they're getting so good. But we've got a solid 12 months lined up of just doing little one-dayers. But then for the final, the semi-finals, we'll be releasing 3 in August and 3 in September. We'll announce that in the next 2 weeks, which
Would
are going to be
the
top 3.
finals?
No, there was semi-finals. So you got one in September, one in...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Call it what you want. We'll figure it out. That's the top 10. We'll be posting all these this week. So next week. So just let us know your thoughts, what ones you're loving, and then that'll sort of help us whittle it down to the two pools, the 2 semi-finals.
And then will the second pool get announced September 1st?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
No, I think we'll announce both pools at the end of July. That way, so everyone just knows what's coming.
Oh, yeah, and then you can buy the second pool September 1st.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.